Namo Adidava. Thank you so much for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. For Dharma lessons, we've been reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom. Today we're finishing a chapter called Who Says It's Wrong to Feel Afraid, with a section on Why Pretend About Reality. If we see that we're obstructing the heart's radiance, then we can begin to feel what's behind that tendency to obstruct that we're habitually involved in. If we do this, then that tendency to obstruct is what we become interested in, not some new improved image of ourselves that we're trying to synthesize. A non-judgmental, non-condemning, all-forgiving, always loving, thoroughly acceptable, agreeable, rounded, nice, improved me appears as an altogether unattractive fantasy, both unconvincing and uninteresting. What is interesting, what is genuinely attractive, is a possibility of experiencing the reality of being in the center of our own reactions, not pretending to not be afraid, not pretending to not get off on praise, not pretending to not dislike blame. But when, for instance, we feel blame and we dislike it, we receive that fully. Why pretend about reality? When we're feeling good about being praised and appreciated, we know it as it is. When we're afraid, we say, yes, I feel afraid. We feel what we feel until there's no distance, no split within us, and we're one with what we're feeling. In attempting to do this, there is the real risk that we tap into more passion than we know how to contain. And if this is the case, then we must acknowledge that we need to develop more strength of containment, more stability of character. We humbly recognize it without trying to push past, without trying to overcome anything, without trying to bypass any stages or any experience, without trying to become enlightened or something. We own up to the limitations that we are experiencing, and we come back to exercising the discipline of attention, engaging with interest in the practice of mindfulness of breathing. We want to do this, not because it's good or it's right or that it's what some expert told us we should do, but because we want to have the strength and the skill to be able to surrender ourselves into the reality that at this stage we intuit is at least possible. If we approach our samadhi practice with this kind of wholehearted interest, then it won't lead to fighting ourselves. It won't lead us into heedless judging of ourselves when we come across our limitations. It's inevitable that, as we intensify the heart feeling through such exercises as observing silence and focusing the mind, we're going to move through areas of experience that we don't feel so complete in, so whole in, or so safe in. It must be that way. Fear can be a healthy reaction as we move into dangerous territory. To say that we feel afraid doesn't mean to say that we're inadequate. Ajahn Chah used to say, well, if you're going to cross the motorway to get to the other side, you should be afraid. It's dangerous. So let's be careful if we come across reactions in the face of fear, such as, you're wrong, you're failing, because you're afraid. Let's see if we can listen with greater patience and deeper willingness. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adidapha. Thanks so much for joining me today.